The morning sun spilled soft light through the tall glass windows of Bennet and Company, a leading marketing agency in New York City. The lobby buzzed with employees tapping on phones, rushing to meetings, and sipping their early morning lattes. Alina Carter, 26 years old, clutched her folder close to her chest as she stepped into the elevator. It was her first day as a junior strategist. She had worked hard to get this job. Her dream wasn't just to work for a big firm, it was to make something of herself. She adjusted the strap of her handbag nervously and pressed the button for the 15th floor. Her heart pounded, not because of the height, but because at the top of that elevator waited Ethan Bennet, the company's legendary but feared CEO. Ethan was known for two things: perfection and power. He built the agency from scratch, turning it into a global brand. But he was also infamous for his cold, no-nonsense attitude. Some said he never smiled. Others claimed he fired people for being late by 2 minutes. When the elevator doors opened, Alina stepped into a sleek, modern workspace. Glass walls, white desks, lush green plants, and the low hum of creative chaos surrounded her. "Alina Carter?" a cheerful voice called out. She turned to see Rachel, the HR manager. "Welcome to Bennet and Company. I'll show you around, and then you'll meet Mr. Bennet." Alina forced a smile. "Thank you." As they walked through the office, Alina couldn't help noticing the energy of the place. People were focused but alive, pushing ideas, scribbling on boards, whispering strategies. Finally, Rachel led her to a large, dark oak door. "He's expecting you," she said softly. Alina took a deep breath and stepped inside. Behind a massive desk stood Ethan Bennet. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp hazel eyes and a clean black suit, he looked every bit the powerful CEO she had imagined. "Miss Carter," he said in a low, steady voice. "Yes, sir," Alina replied, almost in a whisper. "Sit." She obeyed. "I've read your profile," he continued. "Top of your class. No agency experience. You're either brilliant or a gamble. We'll find out which soon." Alina felt her cheeks warm. "I won't let you down, sir," she said. Ethan didn't smile. "I don't believe in promises. I believe in results." And just like that, her journey began. Alina's first few weeks were a whirlwind. She worked long hours, studied every campaign, and observed how the company functioned. Ethan, meanwhile, remained distant and demanding. He'd call out mistakes in meetings without hesitation. Too vague. Unoriginal. Do it again. At first, Alina hated it. But slowly, she realized something. He was never unfair. Harsh, yes. Cold, yes. But he only criticized when he was right. One night, as most employees were gone, Alina stayed late to finish a presentation. Ethan unexpectedly walked in. "Still here?" he asked. She jumped. "Oh, Mr. Bennet. I'm just fixing the strategy deck for tomorrow." He walked over, scanned her screen, and raised an eyebrow. "Why did you change the headline?" She hesitated. "Because I think the client needs a more emotional hook. The original line was strong but not memorable." He leaned closer, reading carefully. Then, for the first time, he gave a single approving nod. "Better," he said and walked away. Her heart swelled. That one word meant more than any applause. Over time, Alina became one of the fastest-rising strategists in the company. Her fresh ideas brought results. Clients began asking for her. But Ethan remained a mystery. He rarely talked about anything personal. His life seemed to exist between his office walls. One evening after a big campaign win, the team celebrated in the conference room. Laughter filled the air. Alina sat quietly at the end of the table, sipping soda. Ethan walked in, unexpectedly. The room fell silent. But to everyone's shock, he raised his glass and said, "Good work, everyone. Especially Alina." That headline carried the campaign. The team burst into cheers. Alina felt her cheeks heat up again. Ethan caught her gaze for a moment, something soft in his eyes, and then left. That night, for the first time, she realized he wasn't just a boss. He was a man who had built walls to survive. 3 months later, the company faced its biggest challenge. A major client threatened to leave over a failed product launch. Ethan was furious. "We can't afford to lose them," he told the team. His voice was sharp. The boardroom air was tense. Alina stepped forward, heart pounding. "What if we rebuild the campaign around their story, not the product?" she said. Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Explain." She laid out her vision, an emotional narrative, raw storytelling, and a series of interactive campaigns to regain customer trust. There was a long silence. Then Ethan said, "Do it. But if this fails, it's on you." Alina accepted the risk. For 2 weeks straight, she and her small team worked day and night. Ethan oversaw every detail, pushing her harder than ever. But somewhere between the late nights and endless coffee, something shifted. He started asking her opinion. He started listening. And once, at 2 a.m., when they were both exhausted, he even laughed, a quiet, real laugh. The campaign launched. It was a massive success. The client not only stayed, they extended their contract. The board celebrated. Ethan didn't say much. But after the meeting, he found Alina alone on the rooftop terrace. "You took a risk," he said quietly. "It was worth it," she replied. He looked at her with a different kind of gaze now, something warm. "You're not a gamble anymore, Alina. You're an asset." She smiled softly. "Thank you, sir." "Ethan," he corrected. She froze. He had never allowed anyone to call him by his first name. As months passed, their bond grew deeper. Ethan began confiding small things, a memory from his childhood, his struggles building the company, his fear of failure. Alina saw a man behind the title, and he saw more than just an employee. But neither dared cross the invisible line between them. Boss and employee. Power and trust. One rainy night, they got stuck in the office during a blackout. The city outside was soaked and silent. They sat on the floor near the emergency light, talking. "Why do you work so hard?" she asked. "Because if I stop," he whispered, "everything I built might disappear." She looked at him, not the CEO, but a man afraid of losing everything. Their closeness didn't go unnoticed. Whispers began around the office. Some said she was getting special treatment. Others were jealous. Alina felt the pressure. She wanted to prove she was where she was because of her work, not because of Ethan. Ethan, too, became distant again, not out of anger, but to protect her. But the distance hurt more than she expected. One afternoon, after a tense meeting, Alina marched into his office. "Why are you avoiding me?" she demanded. He looked up from his desk. "I'm not avoiding you. I'm protecting you." "I don't need protection, Ethan. I need honesty." He stood up, his jaw tight. "This world doesn't play fair, Alina. If people think there's something between us, they'll tear you apart." She stepped closer. "And what about what we feel?" Silence. Then, softly, he said, "That's the problem." Ethan was torn between his duty as a leader and the feelings he could no longer deny. Alina was torn between her career and her heart. When an opportunity arose for her to lead a new branch in London, everyone celebrated. But deep inside, she was breaking. On her last night in New York, Ethan found her in the empty office. "You'll be brilliant there," he said. She forced a smile. "I'll miss this place." "And I'll miss you," he whispered. For a heartbeat, time stopped. They stood too close. His hand brushed hers. But instead of a kiss, there was just silence. Heavy, beautiful, painful. Alina's London branch soared. She became a name in the industry. Ethan watched from afar, proud and heartbroken. They emailed sometimes. Short, professional. But every word carried everything left unsaid. Then, one day, a message arrived. "I'm coming to London." They met at the London headquarters. Years had passed, but the moment their eyes met, it felt like nothing had changed. "You built something incredible," he said, walking through the office. "So did you," she replied. He hesitated, then said, "Alina, I don't want to be just your boss anymore." Her heart raced. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm tired of hiding what I feel." It wasn't easy. They set boundaries, stepped carefully, and proved their relationship was built on respect and equality, not power. Ethan stepped back from her direct chain of command, ensuring her achievements were hers alone. Their love grew not from fairy tale moments but from trust, shared battles, and quiet understanding. Years later, standing on the terrace of their shared apartment, they watched the city lights together. "You remember my first day?" Alina asked with a laugh. "When you were terrified of me?" Ethan teased. "I still am sometimes," she joked. He wrapped his arm around her. "And I'm still proud of the woman who changed my life." Love between a boss and an employee can be complicated, but theirs was built on growth, respect, and courage, not shortcuts. Ethan Bennet learned to open his heart. Alina Carter learned to own her power. And together, they built not just a company but a life.